So it doesn't give you an option to record anything, someone else. We'll, I'll look a bit more and see what's. But what I'd like to do is, so did anyone see anybody watch the Sneetches story at all? The Starbelly Sneetches? Okay, cool. What was your impression of that in terms of what we've been talking about? Or okay, in what ways? Okay. Yeah, yeah. So initially with people who are like them, but after, I mean, you can actually learn to like or be with other people who are different from you. Okay, cool, cool, cool. Yeah, no, you did a wonderful job with that, right? So Ronald Reagan talked about this in his UN address, and I don't have a copy of it here. You can look for it yourself. But he asked this question: if aliens showed up on our planet, what would our differences between each other mean at that point? Right? That superficial star is superficial as we try to make in the grand scheme of things. Um, yeah, here in Minnesota, a mixed marriage could be between a Catholic and a Lutheran, right? And mostly a joke, but 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 the differences that we often make are right are so real. So thank you for sharing. Um, um, this right, part of race someone in terms, right? Like on the street, at us because we're in. What do they mean? Or Hmm. Hmm. So there's, well, I think it's is just, I think the danger of a single story. Anyone? Yeah, I like that, but there's something than the danger of a single story, and it's of a stories are often more damaging. I mean, than a single story, right? So and that's where race plays in, because it's a simple story to try to tell and to propagate, right? But it's the nuances are important. The team, right? So there was the police referred to themselves as is story on why they chose to be called the Tea Party. Does anybody know, remember from history? So say more about that. So that's the simple. What is the version of that story? So those symbols, right? Under what guise? And that's a clue. Under what guise did they do that act? You know what a guise is, right? Yep. So what guise did they use to do that act? These patrons, they dressed up as Indians. So here, so here are these these like Indians act, which meant what? They weren't patriots. They were cowards. Because if they were real patriots, they would have dressed as themselves and responsibility. Um, Cross flag. I'm not exactly sure what that. Um, yeah. So they did not want to take responsibility. Put the responsibility. So simple stories that are problems. People because of a simple story. That's not helpful, right? It is to recognizing how we can be effective with folks. So when I taught K-12, I taught in an area and with a group of kids that had lots lots of uh, excelling in life. And I recognize that from my students or of my students, but I did not as an excuse, right? And so nuances that are important, but we don't get to use those for excuses now and how to solve the problem, but people use those as, and we can't ignore their reasons and their rationales, right? So that's important. I'm trying to see the course in civil rights yet. Have you seen those videos yet? All right. So for those of you who have, can you give you know the crash course version of what those videos are talking about or dealing with? So I'll go ahead and just click on it so we can. It is. You did watch these. Okay. Okay. Sweet. So, so tell us a little bit about the reconstruction of rights video that stood for you as entertainment, but like what nuances? Yep. Someone else. Hmm? Yeah. So one thing I do hope that people, particularly from the reconstruction video, is that we've been here before. So we know how to equity and justice. The question is, do we have to keep doing? So it's not so much that we don't know how or we haven't done something new. It's actually, do we have the intestinal fortitude to do that are we know to they get so it's really what rings. And here's the interesting thing about the Reconstruction period is the 13th Amendment to the Constitution. Had that been followed, there would be no need for the 1964 Civil Rights Act, right? So had the 13th Amendment, the 13th abolished and gave free the rights, followed the 14th and the 15th Amendment, right? You are not incorrect, right? The the family is 13th, 14th, and 15th. But had those been followed by the letter of the law and the intention of the law, we would have never wait 100 years to get this bill. So that's something to think about. And then recognizing that civil rights started long before the 1960s, right? The triumphs of the 60s. That it actually started in 1863 at the signing of the Emancipation Proclamation. So, and even abolitionists, white abolitionists, fighting since the beginning of the country. Right? That was something helpful to kind of reflect on. And so, if you have check those things, please do. Um, and inclusive facilitation, which is more of a skill. You can apply that. Oh, I bumped myself out. That work that you do, philosophy, how to, or difficult conversations with folks. And then here's fuel for you, pronouns. And we talked about this last time a little bit as well. And, really, and because you're on the coast, you don't know what we do because impression have just had the opportunities to practice because of the diversity of being host, right? So, um, but that are important, and particularly given our, so that's yeah. That's a great question. Anyone guiding principle, please. Any about that as well? I mean, yep. if I can add something, I think when you're not in situations where you need to or find out that you can, is to do it as often in a situation. Um, when it does present itself, it's not, oh, I have to think about this thing. It's right, you know. Um, I think particularly in our lot of conversation, teachers talk about friends. Oh, friend, uh, because then it would just be practice. I used to think it was strange until I started. Oh, so the more we're able to make these best practices, uh, the when it's a when you know the opportunity arises. Yeah, we normalize it. Yeah. Well, and I mean, it's for me to do. I become humble enough to recognize that I don't know everything and I don't know everybody. Um, could, okay. No, 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 no. Don't apologize. We're good. We're good. We're learning space. But so I asked a question, and I don't know if I asked you guys this, but it's the same. The principle's the same. Is are there people can learn from Black history? You know, and are there things that people are binary can learn from people? And the answer obviously is yes. And ally being that being the an advocate for that starts with being able to be critical, right? Uh, oh, it was like I think we're breaking up. I hear some static, but it's the snapping, right? So that's I knew I smelled coming from. So, so my generation, we were beginning to talk about that, but it wasn't. We didn't say the words. We knew the people who were special. Well, I mean, those are the kinds of and so yeah, I think we've come a long way to recognizing as whole being. We all so interesting stuff. The the quiz just to kind of go through some of that. I think there's stuff on metrics and may not apply as much to you as when I originally. So feel free to take that quiz and the uh, because there may be won't talk about or haven't had a chance to talk. But feel free to do that. I did want to. So I think I hit. Let me see. Let's see if the work. Uh, no, we're not gonna. I won't do that. I did hide that from. Let me go. Course. I wanted to hope you are enjoying our time together because I'm having a ball to um, like that. And if folks want to just randomly say where you are, that would be great. Okay, cool, Sonia. Sonia, here. I think it's so cool. So there is that. I kind of talk a little bit about. So if you can all of those pieces, that would be great. Next week, being right, um, and so uh, what's important. This idea of being effective. Louder. I didn't. Yeah. Yeah. Has anyone gotten ticket from an officer, and you were like, you know what? I'm glad he gave me that ticket. Anybody ever had that? Never? Oh, okay. Well, I, I, I didn't necessarily like getting the ticket, and no, I get that. Oh, that he deserved it, but it was cool. How does being right work in your personal relationships, in your intimate partner relationships? If right, go ahead, go ahead, pretend. Hmm. In a relationship, right? Even talking about effective. I want to keep. Right? So, I'm not sure if people celebrate Thanksgiving or not. We do a little bit different. My wife's family is we do it a little bit, and um, but there are always these gaps um, and people say the thing family, and I often remember to keep ship. Uh-oh, my table oh, it's not started. Yep. So how do you navigate those, navigate kind of um, where you toss out these you focused. Yeah, I'm not, yeah, go ahead. You did, but I'm to right. So many recognize. I think we talked about it before. Brazil nuts, right? Who called it that because that's what was named. But simultaneously, I want to keep a relationship with my grandmother, shunning her. What happens to this is where I was going before we got cut. What happens to those people that we cut out of our lives? They're inappropriate. What happens to them? And they, yeah, I would say, without us, it can get worse with. And so, um, you know, I think we can have for those folks, but we constantly be in relationship, in contact with folks like, because it is because I remember my mom saying this to my dad. I don't want him. It's so inappropriate, out of pocket, that to infect my later as I Uncle Jim must have been really powerful. That the hour or 30 minutes could undo the work that my parents did before, right? And so I think it's important